Maria had always been afraid of storms. Even as a child, she would hide under her bed when thunder roared across the sky. Now, at 25 years old, she still felt that same fear, but she had to be strong for her children. Her baby, Carmen, was only 6 months old, and her son Diego was 3 years old with bright brown eyes and a smile that could light up any room. They lived in a small house made of wood and metal sheets at the edge of town. It wasn't much, but it was home. Maria worked cleaning offices at night to pay for rent and food. Life was hard, but she was grateful for what they had. The weatherman on the old radio had been talking about a big storm coming for days. Maria didn't pay much attention at first. Storms came and went all the time, but this one was different. The wind started howling 3 days before the rain began. Trees were bending so low they almost touched the ground. On the morning the storm hit, Maria woke up to the sound of her baby crying. The wind was so loud it sounded like a train passing right through their house. She picked up Carmen and went to check on Diego, who was still sleeping in his small bed. Rain was already coming through the cracks in the walls. "Diego, wake up, my love," she said softly, shaking his small shoulder. "We need to move to the center of the house." The little boy rubbed his eyes and looked confused. "Mama, why is it so loud?" "It's just rain, baby. Everything will be okay." But Maria knew it wasn't just rain. This was the worst storm she had ever seen. Water was starting to come under the door. She gathered a few important things: some clothes, the little money she had saved, and a photo of her late husband, Diego's father. By noon, the water inside their house was up to her knees. Baby Carmen was crying nonstop, and Diego was scared. He kept asking when they could go outside to play. "Not today, my love. The rain is too strong." Maria tried to stay calm, but inside she was terrified. The water kept rising. Soon it was up to her waist. She put both children on the small table in the kitchen, but even that wasn't safe anymore. "Mama, I'm scared," Diego said, his little voice shaking. "I know, baby. Me too. But we're going to be okay. I promise." That was a promise she hoped she could keep. By evening, their house was falling apart. The walls were shaking, and part of the roof had blown away. Maria knew they had to leave, but where could they go? Outside, the storm was even worse. She wrapped Carmen in a thick blanket and held her close. Then she took Diego's hand. "We have to go outside now," she told him. "Hold my hand very tight and don't let go, no matter what happens." "But Mama, it's scary out there." "I know, but we have to be brave." "Can you be brave for Mama?" Diego nodded, though his bottom lip was shaking. They stepped outside into the storm. The wind was so strong it almost knocked Maria down. Rain hit their faces like tiny stones. She could barely see where they were going. Water was rushing down the street like a river. They walked slowly, step by step. Maria was looking for somewhere safe to wait until the storm passed. Maybe the church or the school building. Those were made of strong brick and concrete. But as they walked, a huge rush of water came down the street. It was like a wall of water moving fast toward them. Maria screamed and tried to run, but it was too late. The water hit them hard. Maria felt Diego's hand slip from hers. "Diego!" she screamed. "Diego!" She was swept away by the water, holding Carmen tight against her chest. She hit a tree and managed to grab onto it. The water was trying to pull her away, but she held on with all her strength. "Diego! Where are you? Diego!" She looked everywhere but couldn't see her little boy. The water had taken him somewhere. Her heart felt like it was breaking into 1,000 pieces. After what felt like hours, the water started to go down a little. Maria climbed up into the tree, still holding Carmen. From there, she could see the damage the storm had done. Houses were destroyed, cars were turned over, and trees were broken everywhere. But all she could think about was Diego. Where was her little boy? When morning came, the storm was finally over. Maria climbed down from the tree, wet, cold, and exhausted. Carmen was still alive, thank God. But she was very sick from being cold and wet all night. Maria started walking through the neighborhood, looking for Diego and asking everyone she met for help. Please, have you seen a little boy? He's 3 years old, brown hair, wearing a red shirt. The first person she asked was Mrs. Rodriguez, who lived in a big house that hadn't been damaged much by the storm. I'm sorry, I haven't seen any children, Mrs. Rodriguez said. I have my own problems to worry about. My garden is ruined. Maria couldn't believe it. Mrs. Rodriguez was worried about her garden when a child was missing. She went to the next house. Mr. Santos was cleaning up broken glass from his windows. Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for my son. He was swept away by the water last night. Have you seen him? Mr. Santos barely looked at her. No, I haven't seen anyone. I'm too busy fixing my house. You should call the police. But there were no phones working. The storm had knocked down all the phone lines. Maria spent the whole day walking from house to house, from street to street. She asked more than 50 people for help. Some ignored her completely. Others said they were sorry but too busy with their own problems. A few people were rude and told her to go away. Maybe you should have taken better care of your child, one woman said coldly. Those words hurt Maria more than any physical pain. She had tried her best to protect her children. It wasn't her fault the storm was so terrible. By the end of the day, Maria had found nowhere to sleep and no one to help her look for Diego. She sat under a broken bus stop with Carmen in her arms. The baby was getting sicker. She needed medicine and warm milk, but Maria had no money and no way to get help. God, please help me find my son, she prayed quietly. And please help me take care of Carmen. I don't know what to do anymore. That night was the longest night of Maria's life. She sat under the bus stop, trying to keep Carmen warm with her own body heat. Every sound made her hope it might be Diego calling for her. But it never was. Carmen's fever was getting worse. The baby felt so hot, and she wasn't drinking milk anymore. Maria was scared that she might lose Carmen too. Please, baby, you have to be strong, she whispered to Carmen. Mama needs you to be strong. Around midnight, it started raining again. Not as hard as the night before, but enough to make them even more cold and wet. Maria tried to find better shelter, but everywhere she went, doors were locked and no one would let them in. She remembered her neighbor, Mrs. Elena, who had always been friendly before. Maria walked to where Mrs. Elena's house used to be, but it was completely destroyed. She didn't know if Mrs. Elena was safe or not. As the night went on, Maria began to lose hope. Maybe Diego was... No, she couldn't think about that. He had to be alive somewhere. He had to be... She thought about Diego's laugh, the way he would run to her when she came home from work, how he would help take care of baby Carmen. He was such a good boy, so full of life and joy. Diego, wherever you are, Mama loves you, she said out loud. I'm going to find you, I promise. But as the hours passed, that promise felt harder and harder to keep. The next morning, Maria woke up to Carmen crying weakly. The baby was very sick now. Her little face was pale, and her breathing was shallow. Maria knew she needed to find help soon, or she might lose Carmen too. She started walking again, looking for Diego and asking for help. But after yesterday, she didn't expect anyone to care. She walked through parts of the town she had never seen before. The storm had destroyed so much. It looked like a war had happened here. As she walked past a row of damaged houses, she heard something that made her heart stop. It was a small voice crying. A child's voice. Help! Mama! Help me! Maria started running toward the sound, her heart beating so fast she thought it might explode. Diego? Diego, is that you? Mama! Mama! It was Diego's voice. Maria ran faster than she had ever run in her life. She followed the sound to a big tree that had fallen down. Under the tree, in a small space between the branches, she could see something red. Diego's shirt. Diego! I'm here. Baby, Mama's here. She could see him now. He was trapped under the tree, but he was alive. His face was dirty and he looked scared, but he was alive. Mama, I was so scared. I couldn't get out. Maria tried to move the tree branches, but they were too heavy. She needed help. She looked around desperately. There had to be someone, anyone who could help her get Diego out. That's when she heard a gentle voice behind her. Are you both okay? Maria turned around and saw a woman standing there. She was about 40 years old, with kind eyes and graying hair. She was holding a warm blanket and had a bag with food and water. My son is trapped under this tree, Maria said quickly. Please, can you help me? Of course, the woman said without hesitation. My name is Anna. Let me see what we can do. Anna looked at the situation carefully. She was calm and seemed to know what to do. We need something to lift this branch, Anna said. Wait here. She ran to a nearby damaged house and came back with a long piece of metal. Together, they were able to lift the branch just enough for Diego to crawl out. Diego! Maria grabbed her son and held him tight. She was crying with happiness and relief. Mama, you found me. I knew you would find me. I will always find you, my love. Always. Anna smiled as she watched them hug. Then she noticed baby Carmen in Maria's arms. Your baby doesn't look well, Anna said with concern. She's been sick since the storm. She has a fever, and she won't eat. Come with me, Anna said. I have medicine at my house, and food, and clean clothes. Maria couldn't believe what she was hearing. After 2 days of people refusing to help, this stranger was offering everything they needed. I don't have money to pay you, Maria said. Did I ask for money? Anna smiled. Come on. Let's get your children healthy and warm. Anna's house was different from the others in the neighborhood. It had been damaged by the storm, but it was still strong and safe. Anna had already cleaned up most of the mess and made it comfortable again. Sit here, Anna said, pointing to a soft couch. Let me look at your baby. Anna gently touched Carmen's forehead and listened to her breathing. She seemed to know about taking care of sick children. She has pneumonia from being cold and wet, Anna said. But don't worry. I have medicine that will help her feel better. Anna went to get medicine and came back with pills and liquid medicine. She also brought warm milk for Carmen and soup for Diego. Are you a nurse? Maria asked. I was many years ago. I worked in the hospital before I got married. Anna gave Carmen the medicine and helped her drink some warm milk. For the first time in days, the baby seemed to feel a little better. Diego was eating soup and telling Anna about his adventure under the tree. I wasn't scared, he said, trying to sound brave. Well, maybe a little scared, but I knew Mama would find me. Your Mama is very brave, Anna said. She looked everywhere for you. Where is your family? Maria asked Anna. Don't they need you right now? Anna's face became sad for a moment. My husband died 2 years ago. My children live far away in other cities. I'm alone now. Maria felt sorry for Anna. She understood what it was like to lose someone you love. I'm sorry, Maria said. It's okay. God has a plan for everything. Maybe he brought you here because we both needed each other. Over the next few days, Anna took care of Maria and her children like they were her own family. She made sure Carmen got her medicine on time. She played games with Diego and told him stories. She cooked warm meals for all of them. Maria tried to help with cooking and cleaning, but Anna always said, You rest. You've been through so much. Why are you being so kind to us? Maria asked one evening. You don't even know us. Anna was quiet for a moment, looking at Diego playing with some toys she had found for him. When my husband got sick, Anna said slowly, we had no money for medicine. I went to many people asking for help. Rich people, poor people, friends, strangers. Do you know how many people helped us? Maria shook her head. None. Not one person. My husband died because we couldn't buy the medicine he needed. Maria felt her heart break for Anna. I'm so sorry. After he died, I promised myself that if I ever met someone who needed help, I would give them everything I could. I would never let someone suffer alone like we did. But you could have lost everything helping us. Anna smiled. What would I lose? Money? Things? Those aren't important. But if I helped save your family, then my husband's death wasn't for nothing. Then there's some good that came from all that pain. Maria realized she was learning something important about kindness. Real kindness doesn't come from having a lot of money or an easy life. It comes from understanding pain and choosing to help others not feel that same pain. After a week, Carmen was completely healthy again. Diego was happy and playing like normal. But Maria knew they couldn't stay with Anna forever. I need to find work, Maria told Anna, and a place for us to live. What kind of work did you do before? Anna asked. I cleaned offices at night, but I don't know if those buildings are still there after the storm. Anna had an idea. My friend Rosa owns a restaurant downtown. She lost some of her workers because of the storm. Maybe she needs help. The next day, Anna took Maria to meet Rosa. The restaurant had been damaged, but Rosa was working hard to fix it and open again. Can you cook? Rosa asked Maria. Yes, I can cook many things, and I work very hard. Good. I need someone who can cook and also help serve customers. The pay isn't much, but it's honest work. Maria was so happy she almost cried. Thank you. When can I start? Next week when we reopen. On the way home, Anna had another surprise. There's a small apartment above the restaurant, Anna said. Rosa said you and the children can live there. The rent is very cheap. Maria stopped walking and stared at Anna. You arranged all of this for us? Rosa is my friend. I just asked her to give you a chance. But you got the job because she could see you're a good person and a hard worker. That night, Maria sat with Anna on the porch, watching Diego play in the yard. Carmen was sleeping peacefully in her arms. I don't know how to thank you, Maria said. You don't need to thank me. Just be happy. Take care of your children. That's enough. But you saved our lives. All of us. We were going to die if you hadn't found us. Anna shook her head. God saved your lives. I was just the person he used to do it. Maria and her children moved into the small apartment above Rosa's restaurant. It wasn't fancy, but it was clean and safe and theirs. For the first time since the storm, they had a real home again. Maria worked hard at the restaurant. She arrived early and stayed late. She learned to cook new dishes and was always friendly to customers. Rosa was happy with her work. You're the best worker I've ever had, Rosa told her after a month. But even though Maria was busy with her new job, she made sure to visit Anna every week. Anna had become like a mother to her, and like a grandmother to Diego and Carmen. Diego loved visiting Anna's house. Anna had fixed up a special corner just for him with toys and books. She taught him how to read simple words and how to plant flowers in the garden. Anna is my second mama, Diego told Maria one day. What does that make me? Maria asked, pretending to be hurt. You're my first mama, the most important one. But Anna is my second mama, the one who saved us. Carmen was growing bigger and stronger. She had learned to walk and was starting to say simple words. Her first word was mama, but her second word was Anna. Every Sunday, Maria, Diego, and Carmen would have lunch at Anna's house. Anna would cook Diego's favorite foods and tell stories about when she was young. These became the happiest days of Maria's week. One Sunday, Anna seemed quieter than usual. Are you feeling okay? Maria asked. I'm feeling wonderful, Anna said with a big smile. I was just thinking about how different my life is now. Before I met you, I was so lonely. I had nothing to look forward to. Now I have a family again. We're not really your family, Maria said. Aren't you? Anna asked. Family isn't just about blood. It's about love. It's about people who care for each other no matter what. You are my family, and I am yours. 2 years passed. Maria's life was completely different now. She had been promoted to manager of the restaurant. She had saved enough money to buy a small car. Diego was in school and doing very well. Carmen was a happy, healthy toddler who brought joy to everyone who met her. But Maria never forgot the lesson Anna had taught her about kindness. One rainy evening, Maria was closing the restaurant when she saw a young woman sitting outside in the rain. The woman was holding a small baby and looked desperate. Maria went outside. "Are you okay?" "I'm sorry to bother you," the woman said. I don't have anywhere to go. I lost my job last week, and today my landlord kicked me out because I couldn't pay rent." The woman reminded Maria of herself on that terrible night after the storm. Scared, alone with a baby to protect. "Come inside," Maria said. "You're getting soaked." Maria made the woman some hot soup and gave her dry clothes to change into. The baby was about the same age Carmen had been during the storm. "What's your name?" Maria asked. "Isabel. And this is my daughter, Sophia." "Well, Isabel, you and Sophia are going to stay with me tonight. Tomorrow we'll figure out what to do next." Isabel started crying. "You don't even know me. Why would you help a stranger?" Maria smiled, remembering Anna's words from years ago. "Because someone once helped me when I was a stranger. And because everyone deserves kindness when they're in trouble." Maria took Isabel and Sophia to her apartment. She made up the couch for Isabel and fixed a safe place for baby Sophia to sleep. The next morning, Maria talked to Rosa about giving Isabel a job at the restaurant. Rosa agreed to give Isabel a chance, just like she had given Maria a chance years ago. Within a month, Isabel was working steadily and had found her own small apartment. But like Maria with Anna, Isabel stayed in touch with Maria. They became good friends. "You saved my life," Isabel told Maria. "How can I ever repay you?" "By helping someone else when you have the chance," Maria said. "That's how kindness works. We pass it from one person to the next." Years continued to pass. Diego grew into a smart, kind teenager. Carmen became a cheerful little girl who loved school and making friends. Anna remained an important part of their lives, like a beloved grandmother. Maria's restaurant became known not just for good food, but as a place where people could find help when they needed it. Maria had hired several people who had been in desperate situations, just like she once was. She always said, "Everyone deserves a second chance." One day, when Diego was 15 years old, he came home from school excited about something. "Mama, we have to write an essay about our heroes for English class. I want to write about Anna." "That's a wonderful idea," Maria said. "Anna would be so happy to hear that. But I also want to write about you, Mama. You're a hero too." "Me? I'm not a hero, Diego. I'm just your mama. But you are a hero. You help people all the time. Remember Isabel? And Mr. Carlos when he lost his job? And that family from Guatemala who needed help learning English? You help everyone." Maria thought about what Diego said. She had never thought of herself as a hero. She was just doing what felt right, what Anna had taught her to do. "You know what the best part is, Mama?" Diego continued. "Anna saved us, you save other people, and someday I'm going to save people too. It's like a chain of kindness that never ends." Diego was right. The kindness Anna had shown them hadn't stopped with their family. It had spread to Isabel, to Mr. Carlos, to the family from Guatemala, and to many others. Each person they helped would probably help someone else someday. That evening, Maria called Anna to tell her about Diego's essay. "He wants to write about both of us," Maria said. Anna laughed. "That boy is too kind. I just did what anyone should do." "But not everyone would do it, Anna. You know that. Most people wouldn't have helped us." "Then it's up to people like us to show them how it's done," Anna said. "One person at a time, one act of kindness at a time." 10 years after the storm that changed everything, Maria was successful and happy. She owned her own restaurant now. Diego was in college studying to become a doctor. Carmen was 11 years old and wanted to be a teacher so she could help children learn. Ana was getting older but was still healthy and active. She spent most of her time volunteering at the hospital and the children's center. She had never stopped helping people. On the 10th anniversary of the storm, Maria organized a special dinner at her restaurant. She invited everyone who had been part of their story: Ana, Isabel and her daughter Sofia, Rosa, Mr. Carlos, the family from Guatemala, and many others. As they all sat around the big table, sharing food and stories, Maria stood up to make a speech. 10 years ago, I lost everything in a storm, she began. I lost my home, I almost lost my son, and I almost lost hope. I asked many people for help, and most of them said no. She looked at Ana, who was smiling. But one person said yes. One person saw a stranger in need and decided to help. That one person changed everything, not just for my family, but for everyone in this room. Because kindness spreads. When someone shows you kindness, you learn how to show kindness to others. Everyone clapped, and Ana wiped away a tear. The storm took away my house, Maria continued. But it gave me something much more valuable. It gave me Ana, who became my second mother. It gave me all of you, who became my extended family. It taught me that the most important thing in life isn't what you own, but how you treat other people. Diego stood up. I want to say something too. He looked around the table at all the faces he had grown up seeing. Mama always tells me that Ana saved our lives, but I think we saved Anna's life too. She was lonely and we gave her a family. That's what real families do. They save each other. As the evening went on, people shared their own stories. Isabel talked about how Maria's help had changed her life. Mr. Carlos talked about finding hope again after losing his job. The children played together, not knowing that they were part of something special, a community built on kindness. Later, as Maria was cleaning up, Ana helped her in the kitchen. Are you happy with how everything turned out? Ana asked. More than happy, Maria said. I'm grateful for everything, even for the storm. Even for the storm? If there had been no storm, I never would have met you. Diego and Carmen wouldn't have a grandmother. Isabel would still be homeless. All these people wouldn't be connected to each other. Sometimes terrible things happen, but good people can make beautiful things grow from that terrible soil. Ana nodded. That's the most important lesson of all. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. We can choose to be bitter, or we can choose to be kind. As Maria locked up the restaurant that night, she looked at the sign she had put up over the door 2 years earlier. It said, "Everyone welcome. Everyone deserves kindness." She thought about all the people who had passed through those doors. People looking for jobs, people needing food, people just needing someone to listen to their problems. Her restaurant had become more than a business. It had become a place where kindness lived. If there had been no storm, I never would have met you. Diego and Carmen wouldn't have a grandmother. Isabel would still be homeless. All these people wouldn't be connected to each other. Sometimes terrible things happen, but good people can make beautiful things grow from that terrible soil. Ana nodded. That's the most important lesson of all. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. We can choose to be bitter, or we can choose to be kind. As Maria locked up the restaurant that night, she looked at the sign she had put up over the door 2 years earlier. It said, "Everyone welcome. Everyone deserves kindness." She thought about all the people who had passed through those doors. People looking for jobs, people needing food, people just needing someone to listen to their problems. Her restaurant had become more than a business. It had become a place where kindness lived. 5 years had passed since the anniversary dinner, and life had settled into a comfortable rhythm. Diego was now Dr. Diego Martinez, working at the city hospital in the emergency department. At 25, he had his father's gentle eyes and his mother's determination to help others. Carmen, now 16, was everything Maria had hoped she would become: kind, intelligent, and passionate about education. She tutored younger children after school and had already been accepted to the university's teaching program. Anna, now 78, moved a little slower, but her spirit remained as bright as ever. She had become something of a legend in the neighborhood, known simply as Abuela Anna to everyone who met her. It was a Tuesday morning when Diego called Maria with concern in his voice. "Mama, have you heard the weather reports? There's another big storm coming. They're saying it might be worse than the one 15 years ago." Maria felt her stomach tighten. Even after all these years, the memory of that terrible night could still make her hands shake. "How bad?" she asked. "Bad enough that they're talking about evacuating parts of the city. Mama, we need to check on Anna, and we should think about opening the restaurant as a shelter again." During the smaller storms over the years, Maria's restaurant had become an unofficial community center, a place where people knew they could find safety, food, and help. But this storm sounded different. "I'll go see Anna right now," Maria said. "Meet me there after your shift." When Maria arrived at Anna's house, she found the older woman calmly packing a small bag. "Anna, what are you doing?" "Getting ready to help, of course," Anna said with a smile. "If this storm is as bad as they say, there will be people who need us. Anna, you should evacuate to somewhere safe. Come stay with us, or go to the official shelter downtown." Anna stopped packing and looked at Maria with the same determined expression she'd had 15 years ago when she first offered to help. "Maria, my dear, do you remember what I told you about my husband?" "Of course. I told you that after he died, I promised to help anyone who needed it. I didn't say I would help them only when it was convenient or only when I was young and strong. I said I would help, period." Maria sighed. She recognized that tone. Anna had made up her mind. "At least let me stay with you," Maria said. "What about Carmen? She needs her mother. Carmen is almost grown up, and she has Isabel to look after her if needed. But you, Anna, your family. I'm not leaving you alone." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "After all these years, you're still taking care of me. We take care of each other. That's what families do." By evening, the whole community was buzzing with preparation. Diego had convinced the hospital to let him coordinate medical support for the unofficial shelters around the neighborhood. Carmen had organized her school friends to help gather supplies. Isabel, now the assistant manager at Maria's restaurant, had turned the place into a supply center. The dining room was filled with blankets, canned food, water, and first aid supplies. "Just like old times," Isabel said to Maria as they worked side by side. "I hope not exactly like old times," Maria replied. "I hope this time more people will help each other." "They will," said a voice behind them. It was Rosa, now retired but still spry at 65. "You've taught half this neighborhood how to be kind. They won't forget that now." She was right. As the evening wore on, Maria watched in amazement as people came to help who had never helped before. Mr. Santos, the man who had refused to help her look for Diego 15 years ago, arrived with his truck full of bottled water. "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you before," he said quietly to Maria. "I was selfish. I want to do better this time." Mrs. Rodriguez, who had once been worried only about her garden, came with homemade sandwiches for 50 people. "Anna taught me about what really matters," she explained. "Gardens can be replanted. People can't be replaced." The storm arrived at midnight, just as the weather service had predicted. This time, Maria wasn't a terrified young mother hiding in a tree. She was a community leader, coordinating help from the restaurant that had become the neighborhood's heart. 37 people had taken shelter in the restaurant. Families with small children, elderly people who lived alone, and workers who had nowhere else to go. Diego moved between the groups, checking on everyone's health. Carmen helped keep the children calm by reading stories and leading songs. Anna, despite Maria's protests, insisted on helping serve food and checking on the most vulnerable people. Abuela Ana called out a little boy named Miguel, whose family had arrived just before the storm hit. "I'm scared." Ana sat down next to him and took his small hand in her weathered one. "You know what, Miguel? I'm a little scared too. But you know what I learned a long time ago?" "What?" "Being scared is okay. It means you're being careful. But being scared doesn't mean you're alone. Look around this room. See all these people? We're all taking care of each other." Miguel looked around the room and saw Maria handing out blankets, Diego helping an elderly man with his medicine, Carmen playing games with other children, and Isabel making sure everyone had enough to eat. "It's like a big family," Miguel said. "Exactly like a big family," Ana agreed. When the storm finally passed and morning came, the damage was significant but not devastating. The community had been better prepared this time, and more importantly, they had been prepared together. As people began to venture outside to assess the damage, something beautiful happened. Instead of everyone rushing to check only their own property, they organized into groups to check on each other. Mrs. Rodriguez's house had lost its roof, but before she could even worry about it, her neighbors were already planning how to help her repair it. Mr. Santos's truck had been damaged by a fallen tree, but 3 families immediately offered to share their vehicles with him until his could be fixed. The elderly couple who ran the corner store had flooding in their business, but within hours, a dozen people were there with mops and fans, helping them clean up. "This is different from last time," Maria said to Anna as they stood outside the restaurant, watching their neighbors help each other. "People learned," Anna said simply. "They learned that helping others doesn't make you weaker. It makes the whole community stronger." Diego walked up to them, exhausted but smiling. "The hospital is back online. They want me to come in to help with storm casualties. But honestly, I think our neighborhood handled things better than the official shelters." "That's because this isn't just a neighborhood anymore," Carmen added, joining the group. "It's a family, a really big family." Baby Gabriel became a symbol of hope for the entire community. His parents, Rosa and Miguel, who had the same name as the little boy Ana had comforted, decided to stay in the neighborhood instead of moving to another city as they had originally planned. "How could we leave?" Rosa said. "These people risked their lives in a storm to help bring our son into the world. This is where we belong." Diego became Gabriel's unofficial doctor, checking on him regularly. Carmen appointed herself as his big sister, always ready to help when Rosa needed a break. But it was Ana who formed the most special bond with little Gabriel. Every day, she would sit with him for hours, telling him stories about kindness and courage. "You were born in a storm," she would whisper to him, "but you brought sunshine to all of us." One afternoon, as Ana was holding Gabriel while Rosa ran errands, Maria found her sitting in the garden behind the restaurant. "Ana, are you okay? You look tired." "I'm fine, dear. Just thinking." "About what?" Ana looked down at Gabriel, who was sleeping peacefully in her arms. "About how perfect everything turned out. When I first helped you 15 years ago, I thought I was just saving one family. I never imagined it would become all this." She gestured around them at the thriving community. "You planted a seed of kindness," Maria said. "We all just helped it grow. And now it's going to keep growing, even after I'm gone." "Ana, don't talk like that." "Maria, I'm 78 years old. I'm not being morbid, just realistic. But look at this community. Look at Diego helping people as a doctor. Look at Carmen preparing to be a teacher. Look at Isabel running a business and helping others. Look at this baby who will grow up knowing that strangers can become family." Maria sat down next to Ana. "You're not going anywhere for a long time." Ana smiled. "I hope not. I want to see Gabriel take his first steps. I want to see Carmen graduate from university. I want to see what other wonderful things this community creates." 2 years later, Gabriel was a happy toddler taking his first wobbly steps in Anna's garden. Ana, now 80, moved more slowly, but her joy in watching him was infinite. Carmen had graduated high school and was in her second year of university, studying education just as she had always planned. She came home every weekend to help at the restaurant and to spend time with Anna. Isabel had opened a second restaurant across town, employing people who needed second chances, just as Maria had taught her. Diego had been promoted to head of emergency medicine and had started a program training community members in disaster preparedness and basic medical care. But the most important change was in the community itself. The network of mutual support that had begun with Anna helping Maria had grown into something extraordinary. There were neighborhood watch programs, community gardens, tutoring circles, and support groups for everything from new mothers to people dealing with job loss. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, the whole extended family gathered in Anna's garden for Gabriel's second birthday party. There were now too many people to count. Original neighbors, new residents who had been drawn by the community's reputation for kindness, and families who had been helped over the years and stayed to help others. As Anna watched Gabriel blow out his candles, with considerable help from Carmen, she felt a deep satisfaction. The little boy who had been born in a storm was now surrounded by love, just as Diego and Carmen had been surrounded by love when she first found them. "Make a wish, Gabriel," Carmen said. The little boy closed his eyes tight and made his wish. When he opened them, he looked right at Anna and clapped his hands. "What did you wish for?" Rosa asked him. Gabriel pointed at Anna and said clearly, "Abuela Anna, stay." Anna wiped away a tear and picked up the little boy. "I'm not going anywhere, mi amor. I'm right where I belong." As the party continued around them, Maria found herself thinking about how different her life might have been if Anna had walked past that tree 15 years ago instead of stopping to help. Not just her life, but Diego's life, Carmen's life, Isabel's life, Gabriel's life, and the lives of dozens of other people who had been touched by the chain of kindness that began with one person choosing to help. She looked around at all the faces, people laughing, sharing food, children playing together regardless of where their families had come from, elderly neighbors being cared for by younger ones, and younger people learning wisdom from their elders. This was what Anna had created by saying yes when everyone else said no. Not just a rescue, but a transformation. A storm had tried to destroy their community, but kindness had rebuilt it stronger than ever. And the best part was that it was still growing, still spreading, still creating new connections and new hope every day. The storm had ended long ago, but the sunshine that followed would last forever. Years passed, and the story continued to grow. Gabriel grew up to become a teacher, inspired by Carmen's example. Other children born into the community learned the lessons of kindness and carried them wherever they went. Anna lived to be 92, long enough to see Gabriel start school, to see Carmen open her own school for underserved children, and to see Diego establish a free clinic in the neighborhood. When Anna finally passed away peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by her chosen family, the entire community mourned. But they also celebrated, because they knew her legacy would live on in every act of kindness, every helping hand extended to a stranger, every time someone chose compassion over indifference. At Anna's funeral, hundreds of people came to pay their respects. The church was filled not just with neighborhood residents, but with people from across the city whose lives had been touched by the ripple effects of Anna's kindness. Diego gave the eulogy. Anna used to say that she was just doing what anyone should do. But the truth is, not everyone would do what Anna did. She saw a stranger in need and chose to help, not because it was easy, but because it was right. That choice changed everything, not just for my family, but for this entire community. Today, we're not just saying goodbye to Anna. We're recommitting to the promise she made, that no one should face their storms alone, that everyone deserves kindness, that love shared multiplies rather than diminishes. Anna taught us that we don't have to be rich or powerful to change the world. We just have to be willing to help the person standing right in front of us. After the service, as people shared memories and stories, a pattern emerged. Almost everyone had a story about how Anna had helped them, or how someone Anna had helped had then helped them, or how they had been inspired by Anna's example to help someone else. The storm that had nearly destroyed Maria's family 15 years earlier had, through Anna's kindness, created something beautiful and lasting. A community where kindness wasn't the exception, but the rule. And in the end, that was Anna's greatest gift. Not just that she had saved one family, but that she had shown them all how to save each other. The chain of kindness continued, link by link, heart by heart, storm after storm, creating light wherever there had been darkness, hope wherever there had been despair. Some storms destroy, but some storms, when met with kindness, create something more beautiful than what came before. The end. 2 years later, Gabriel was a happy toddler taking his first wobbly steps in Anna's garden. Anna, now 80, moved more slowly, but her joy in watching him was infinite. Carmen had graduated high school and was in her second year of university, studying education just as she had always planned. She came home every weekend to help at the restaurant and to spend time with Anna. Isabel had opened a second restaurant across town, employing people who needed second chances, just as Maria had taught her. Diego had been promoted to head of emergency medicine and had started a program training community members in disaster preparedness and basic medical care. But the most important change was in the community itself. The network of mutual support that had begun with Anna helping Maria had grown into something extraordinary. There were neighborhood watch programs, community gardens, tutoring circles, and support groups for everything from new mothers to people dealing with job loss. On a sunny Sunday afternoon, the whole extended family gathered in Anna's garden for Gabriel's second birthday party. There were now too many people to count. Original neighbors, new residents who had been drawn by the community's reputation for kindness, and families who had been helped over the years and stayed to help others. As Anna watched Gabriel blow out his candles, with considerable help from Carmen, she felt a deep satisfaction. The little boy who had been born in a storm was now surrounded by love, just as Diego and Carmen had been surrounded by love when she first found them. "Make a wish, Gabriel," Carmen said. The little boy closed his eyes tight and made his wish. When he opened them, he looked right at Anna and clapped his hands. "What did you wish for?" Rosa asked him. Gabriel pointed at Anna and said clearly, "Abuela Anna, stay." Anna wiped away a tear and picked up the little boy. "I'm not going anywhere, mi amor. I'm right where I belong." As the party continued around them, Maria found herself thinking about how different her life might have been if Anna had walked past that tree 15 years ago instead of stopping to help. Not just her life, but Diego's life, Carmen's life, Isabel's life, Gabriel's life, and the lives of dozens of other people who had been touched by the chain of kindness that began with one person choosing to help. She looked around at all the faces, people laughing, sharing food, children playing together regardless of where their families had come from, elderly neighbors being cared for by younger ones, and younger people learning wisdom from their elders. This was what Anna had created by saying yes when everyone else said no. Not just a rescue, but a transformation. A storm had tried to destroy their community, but kindness had rebuilt it stronger than ever. And the best part was that it was still growing, still spreading, still creating new connections and new hope every day. The storm had ended long ago, but the sunshine that followed would last forever. Years passed, and the story continued to grow. Gabriel grew up to become a teacher, inspired by Carmen's example. Other children born into the community learned the lessons of kindness and carried them wherever they went. Anna lived to be 92, long enough to see Gabriel start school, to see Carmen open her own school for underserved children, and to see Diego establish a free clinic in the neighborhood. When Anna finally passed away peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by her chosen family, the entire community mourned. But they also celebrated, because they knew her legacy would live on in every act of kindness, every helping hand extended to a stranger, every time someone chose compassion over indifference. At Anna's funeral, hundreds of people came to pay their respects. The church was filled not just with neighborhood residents, but with people from across the city whose lives had been touched by the ripple effects of Anna's kindness. Diego gave the eulogy. Anna used to say that she was just doing what anyone should do. But the truth is, not everyone would do what Anna did. She saw a stranger in need and chose to help. Not because it was easy, but because it was right. That choice changed everything. Not just for my family, but for this entire community. Today, we're not just saying goodbye to Anna. We're recommitting to the promise she made, that no one should face their storms alone, that everyone deserves kindness, that love shared multiplies rather than diminishes. Anna taught us that we don't have to be rich or powerful to change the world. We just have to be willing to help the person standing right in front of us. After the service, as people shared memories and stories, a pattern emerged. Almost everyone had a story about how Anna had helped them, or how someone Anna had helped had then helped them, or how they had been inspired by Anna's example to help someone else. The storm that had nearly destroyed Maria's family 15 years earlier had, through Anna's kindness, created something beautiful and lasting. A community where kindness wasn't the exception, but the rule. And in the end, that was Anna's greatest gift. Not just that she had saved one family, but that she had shown them all how to save each other. The chain of kindness continued, link by link, heart by heart, storm after storm, creating light wherever there had been darkness, hope wherever there had been despair. Some storms destroy, but some storms, when met with kindness, create something more beautiful than what came before. The end.